Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first webinar for 2018. And we think you'll enjoy this webinar. It's the introduction of our new office, the Office of Credit Union Resources and Expansion. We know you're going to love it. My name is Catherine Baxter. I'm going to be your moderator for today. And with me is our director of the office, Martha Ninichuk, and the deputy director, JeanMarie Komyathy. We also have a guest in our audience, but I won't announce him. He asked me not to. So anyhow, before we go into our webinar, and again, we think you're going to enjoy this immensely, let's go over a few housekeeping items. So please adjust the volume on your computer so that you can hear this webinar. If you'd like to resize these slides, please drag the right bottom corner. From this website, you will need to allow pop-ups. We have an Ask a Question feature on the left-hand side of your console. And what we'd like you to do for us is to ask a question during the webinar. Don't wait until the end, especially if you hear something that you have a little bit more you'd like to engage Martha or JeanMarie about. Ask it during the webinar. And then, as always, in approximately 3 weeks, we're going to close caption this webinar in our learning management system. So you can use that link there, or you can go to our NCUA website, and Martha and JeanMarie are going to tell you how to get to the learning management service. As I mentioned, we are introducing our new office. And so to do that, it makes sense that we allow the director of the office, Martha Ninichuk, to do that. Martha, you have the call.
Thank you. Thanks, Catherine, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to find out about NCUA's new Office of Credit Union Resources and Expansion, also known as CURE. As many of you have heard, the NCUA is currently undergoing a realignment. The first phase of the alignment was to look at how NCUA could better utilize its resources by combining functions that crossed over agency offices. One of the resulting changes included the replacement of the Office of Small Credit Union Initiatives with the Office of Credit Union Resources and Expansion. Other agency changes include the Asset Management and Assistance Center is now overseen by Region 4, and effective next year in 2019, the realignment of NCUA's regional offices. The agency will move from 5 regional offices to 3. This is the new regional map. As you can see, Region 1 will be in yellow, Region 2 is the lighter green, and Region 3 is in dark green. Again, this realignment will take place in 2019. So let's talk about CURE. As I stated earlier, the agency looked at all offices to determine how, through better alignment of functions and resources, could we improve assistance to credit unions. One of the major service areas is the regulatory support provided to credit unions in their strategic growth and outreach strategies. The agency decided through CURE to combine the regulatory support for expansion with the resources previously offered through a QE. CURE's mission is to assist all credit unions with their strategic growth strategies. There are 2 CURE functions, expansion and resources. The expansion assistance comes through the regulatory support in the areas of charter conversions, bylaw amendments, field of membership expansion requests, and NCUA's low-income designation. We combine the expansion with our resources, which is our second function. Resources we offer to support credit unions include the Community Development Revolving Loan Fund Programs, or Grants and Loans Program known as CDRLF, and the partnership that we have with the Community Development Financial Institutions Fund by administering the CDFI Streamlined Certification Initiative. Our online training portal, the Learning Management Service, and the Minority Depository Preservation Program, which is new to our office and that we're currently building out. So now within one office, credit unions seeking regulatory assistance in their outreach and expansion efforts will also be informed of available resources. So if you can think of a one-stop shop. An example I like to use is if a credit union seeking a field of membership expansion in an underserved area, CURE's consumer access analysts will provide the regulatory support to to make the FOM change. But at the same time, the analyst will also be able to provide the credit union information on NCUA's low-income designation, what CDRLF grants and loans may be available at the time to assist the credit union, and other training and resources available that we have online in our learning management service. So rather than a credit union working across NCUA offices, CURE will have both expansion and resource support. So this is an illustration of the interaction within CURE. On the left is our Consumer Access Division, and on the right is our Operations Division. Besides informing credit unions of the resources available to them, we will be working internally to make our jobs more efficient and more effective for credit unions. As an example, the LMS will be used to augment the work performed by consumer access analysts. Routinely, analysts are asked the same questions regarding FOM expansion and fair insurance and other questions. Our operations divisions will work internally with the analysts to develop learning tools to address these inquiries. Analysts would then be able to refer credit unions to the LMS to gain the knowledge required in order to move forward with their expansion initiatives. Now, all of this will take time. There's a lot of work that needs to be done behind the scenes, but we are so excited about what our office can provide to credit unions and the impact we can make overall. To assist us in our efforts, we actually formed 2 new positions. The curriculum specialist will be responsible for developing online curriculum, webinar, and virtual training courses for credit unions through the Learning Management Service. There's also another position called the Consumer Access Coordinator, who will provide triage support between credit unions and our consumer access analysts by completing field of membership packages. They'll also work to support organizing groups wishing to charter a new credit union, newly chartered credit unions, as well as provide assistance on net worth restoration plans of those credit unions less than $10 million in assets. A lot of thought and effort was put into the development of CURE. Staff are excited about this new office and how we can fine-tune our service offerings to better assist credit unions in their growth strategies. At this time, I'd like to turn over the presentation to JeanMarie to walk us through the resources available to credit unions through CURE.
Thanks, Martha. I am very excited about the new office as well and look forward to sharing with you the resources that we have. As many of you know, NCUA's website underwent a change over the last few weeks. We have a new shield, and you'll see some new places on that website. But I'm happy to say that you can find the Credit Union Resources and Expansion Office in the same place that you used to find a SCUE. Under the Services button, we're the very first option there. And by clicking on that option, you'll find our new microsite page. It provides an introduction to our office, how to reach us, and a brief description of what we're trying to do. It also introduces the 5 areas where we can provide resources and assistance with expansion. And what I'd like to do today is go through all of those areas. So we're going to start with the Resources button. On here, you'll find things like our resource guides, our CDFI streamlined application, and back issues of our newsletter, our electronic newsletter, Focus. Now, we did retire Focus in December of 2017, but stay tuned as we'll have something new to replace it later this year. This is also where you can go, one of the places that you can go to find our resource guide. I'll talk about our Learning Management Service in a minute, which is the other place that you can go. Moving on to our next button, you get to Grants and Loans, and many of you are probably familiar with this area. We haven't changed much of what we've got in here, but it's the access point for our low-income credit unions to find our grant and loan programs. In 2017, 275 credit unions received over $2.4 million in grants, both technical assistance and urgent need grants from us. And we want to continue to provide that service to our low-income credit unions, regardless of what size they are. So look for more information in early summer on the Notice of Funding Opportunities and what initiatives we'll have. Moving on, you'll find our learning resources, and this really focuses on our learning management service. As you know, that service was introduced May of 2017, and it is a premier service for credit unions to receive free online training for volunteers, staff, executives, and your governance team. There's a variety of different courses and opportunities on that learning management service, and it's something that's really a true benefit for all of you. So I'd like to spend a little bit more time looking at that. We've got a screenshot here of what the learning management service looks like when you get to it. And this really captures the areas where we provide training and information. It's a variety of places. It's a variety of topics. And on here, right on this front page, you'll see the link to our full list of materials, our webinars, our videos, and our resource guides. You can get to any of those items just by clicking on them. But if you really want to harness the power of our learning management service, we encourage you to register for an account, because in that manner you can get to training plans, our full courses, and certificates that can support that you've taken the training. So you can see a lot of the services that we provide. Now what I'd like to do is go a little bit more into our expansion areas. So moving on to field of membership expansion, we've tried to centralize a lot of the information that was on other parts of our website and provide it in a place that you can find easily. You'll find our internet application for field of membership changes. You'll find information about our low-income designation, and you'll find information about chartering and field of membership forms. The next button goes more into our chartering area and really talks about how you can start a credit union. And yes, we do want to start new credit unions, and we want to help organizing groups that want to start new credit unions. So you'll find information about our bylaws. You'll find information about how to charter a credit union, as well as other items that you may have questions about. We encourage you to go to our website and continue looking at the resources that are on there. You'll find expanded information about our Minority Depository Institution Preservation Program. You'll find a lot of information about what our office is doing. And if you need more information, we'd like to provide you with the means to be able to contact us. You'll see that some of these email addresses have not changed. If you're looking for information about field of membership expansion, you still go to bcamail@ncua.gov. But if you'd like to offer us some suggestions for our learning management service or topics that you would like to see, feel free to reach out to us at curelms@ncua.gov. We want to hear from you, and we want to hear how our resources can help you. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Martha.
Thanks, JeanMarie. With the snapshot, you can see the opportunity that we have through this new office. We are truly intent in developing our mission further, which is let us help you grow. And at this time, I'd like to open it up to any questions that you may have that we can answer.
All right. Thank you, Martha. JeanMarie, we'd like to encourage you to get your questions in. We're going to entertain a few questions that were given before the webinar, and certainly that'll give you an opportunity to ask Martha and JeanMarie any supplemental questions. So one of the questions that we had came from large credit unions. The question is, can large credit unions use the learning management service? JeanMarie?
Absolutely. Our learning management service is for any credit union that would like to use it. It offers a variety of different information, topics on governance, on operations, on planning. Anybody who is affiliated with a credit union through being a volunteer, through being a staff member, or through being an executive of any credit union that's insured by NCUA is welcome to use our learning management service.
Okay, well, here's a follow-up question, JeanMarie. So a credit union said, do the training resources include Board of Director, financial literacy, and BSA training?
Yes, they do. All three topics are included on our learning management service.
Wonderful. All right, we have some more questions. Everyone's coming in now. JeanMarie, you're the expert on this.
I'll try.
You stepped in it. Here we go. The learning management service. So we have a credit union that says, how do I sign up for the LMS?
Well, I would encourage you to go to NCUA's website, click on the services button, get to our learning management service, and then right on the front page, you'll find a button that says how to use this site. And if you click on that, you'll get to a video that will explain to you how to use our learning management service and how to sign up for it. You sign up for an account by providing a variety of information. We'll send an email back to you to verify the information, and then you'll be eligible to get in and to use the site to the fullest.
Okay, so now you've opened up a can of worms, JeanMarie. Here's another question. This is a good one. So we have a question from one of our league. They said, can league staff access the LMS?
At this time, we have not made the LMS available to anybody who is not associated with a credit union.
They can look at it.
They can look at the LMS. They can click on the links that go directly to videos, webinars, or full courses, but you would not be able to register for an account if you are not really connected to a credit union itself.
So that's a good point, because we want the leagues and everyone that's not a credit union to understand you can view the information. However, you cannot take the full courses and you can't get a certificate.
Correct.
Yeah. This is totally for credit union employees, volunteers, and staff. Okay. So now the questions are coming in.
All right.
So you
Send them
want
to Martha.
You want me to put them to Martha? Okay. Here we go. Okay, Martha, here's a good question for you. This is a very good question.
Okay.
So credit union says, will CURE assist low-income credit unions with strategic planning as OSCUI did in the past?
That's a great question, and that was something that was heavily discussed during the planning process of the realignment of the agency. And what was decided was using our resources more efficiently and better enabling to reach out to a broader audience. So the decision was made to use a new platform for our consulting, which is online through the Learning Management Service. So instead of a consultant only having the opportunity to assist a credit union on 3 different services, which was the way that the consulting program was set up before, which was when a credit union signed up for consultant assistance, they were able to choose from a menu of 3 services. And the consultant then could work remotely with the credit union to assist them. We decided it was more efficient for the NCUA to build their learning management service so the credit unions and volunteer could access this learning management service and the information and really tap into a library of information. So you're not tied to just the 3 services. The credit union can access the learning management service at any time on their schedule, and there is information about strategic plans online for a credit union. The only difference is the EDS will not be available, or we do not have consultants available to be the facilitator of the strategic plan. But the credit unions do have the information now online to walk them through that process.
Thank you, Martha. There's a question here that referred back to, I believe, what was it, net worth restoration plan?
Yep.
I think. So here's the question. It's a little vague. The credit union says, so this applies to credit unions under $10 million. So can you address that from both perspectives? I'm not sure whether they're asking, is CURE?
Okay, so CURE assistance is available to all credit unions, and that's why the agency moved in this direction. It's for assistance to any credit union whatsoever. The reference to $10 million in assets and under is just the assistance that the consumer access coordinators will provide to smaller credit unions that are needing assistance with net worth restoration plans.
Great.
That's the only time an asset limitation is looked at.
Okay, wonderful. So now here's a question that I think maybe we need to address so that credit unions know that this is still available. Is FAQ still available?
Absolutely. Online. If you don't know what FAQ Plus is, it's our online searchable database where if the credit union has a question, regulatory, operational, whatever the topic is, FAQ Plus still resides on the CURE website. Credit union types in the information within 2 business days. The credit union will receive a response from our office. Once that information is sent to the credit union, it's added to our database, so the next time a credit union asks that same question, the answer will pop up automatically. So we encourage everybody to continue to use FAQ Plus.
Even if they haven't used it before, maybe this would be a better time, a good resource.
Yes.
Because of the answers there. So now here's a good question, too. The credit union asked, they said they're interested in hearing what types of resources this area will be providing. And then they said if there's going to be CECL or call report resource information moving forward.
So I think as we move forward with our learning management service, we will be working with all of the offices within NCUA to develop materials and courses that we can provide training on. We'll be looking at what are the topics that are going on, what are the supervisory priorities, what is the capacity of our curriculum specialists to add new courses to the learning management service. We're constantly trying to find new things to put on there and to develop courses that will get on there. We don't have a specific list at this point, but we will begin talking with all of the different offices to find out what needs to be on. And we want to hear from credit unions of what you'd like. So if you have topics, please send us a quick email. Either tell us through this webinar or send us a quick email and let us know what types of courses you would like to see.
I mean, again, CURE is a new office. We literally just opened up on Monday, and our first strategic planning session will take the first part of February. And that's part of the plan. I mean, we want to be strategic. We want to take a look at the learning management services, our online consulting program. So credit unions can go online and find out that information or obtain education on those items that were previously asked from our ESs. So really, this platform that we have through the LMS is so dynamic and broad. You know, we could have interactive online training sessions at some point. So we're really excited about what this service allows us to do.
So that begs another question, Martha, sort of a side question. So while you and JeanMarie are gearing up this office, if credit unions find that there's something that they're missing, how can they communicate that to you so that you can look at it?
JeanMarie really listed all of the emails on one of the slides here at the end. And I would encourage, if it has to do with the training program, contact the CURE LMS at ncua.gov. If it's a general comment, just use our CURE mail at ncua.gov. So there's multiple ways that you can communicate with us.
Okay, so I put that slide back out there so that the audience can see it. We have quite a few questions coming in now, which is great. I'm going to put JeanMarie back in the hot seat briefly because, we had leagues asking, can we use the LMS? Right. So now state examiners say, well, can we use the LMS?
Same answer for the state examiners that we had for the leagues. You can go on to the LMS, you can click on the link and see the full list of videos, webinars, and resource guides, and select any of those and look at them that way. Unfortunately, you cannot register for an account to get to the full courses, but you certainly can see what resources are on there and could recommend those resources to the credit unions that you're working with.
Okay. And let us know. I mean, if they see something that they're working with their credit unions and see systemically that some credit unions are having challenges in X area, and we don't have any tools for credit unions to address that challenge, please let us know, and that's something that we can put on our list to develop.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, here's a good question. We're getting some fantastic questions, and keep them coming, everybody. So here's what a credit union says. They said, will CURE help credit unions interested in expanding its field of membership to serve underserved area, identify those areas? Is that what CURE is going to do? Will they help? And they said, then the follow-up question is, how?
Yeah, yes. I mean, I mean, I get so excited, as you can tell, when somebody brings this up, and that is one of our future goals. We're not there yet. It might take us a while to get there. But as JeanMarie and I have been talking to staff and understanding the needs of the industry, one of the goals that we have in the future is, identifying underserved areas that are not currently being served by credit unions and notifying the industry that there's some untapped markets, and then having credit unions contact us about wanting to expand their field of membership. A lot of that, is we need to develop those processes and identification tools within our office. So, it will take a while, but that's like a dream that I want to be working on.
Sorry, Martha.
That's all right.
Okay. So now here's another question. We've got quite a few. A credit union already wants to know, BSA is always a hot topic. Do we have any BSA training available? Well, I'll answer part of that, but then I'm going to turn it to you guys. We do have BSA training available, but we are going to be working on some BSA training more current. So we do have some now, correct?
We do have some available on the LMS right now. We're getting quite a few questions about the LMS, and one of the things that I would encourage everybody to do is we did a webinar about the LMS back in, I think, August of last year, Catherine.
Yeah.
So that webinar is available on our LMS service. I would encourage those of you who have questions about using the LMS, about what's available on it, about how to take the benefits of it, to go out and watch that webinar or look through the materials that are on that webinar. That will give you quite a bit of information about that particular topic.
Okay, fantastic. We have a credit union that's having a little problem negotiating NCUA.gov. They said that they don't see the service tab. They don't see a button. And I'm not sure if they're saying they don't see a button for the LMS or what they don't see a button for.
So when they click on services, they would then want to click on, you'll get a drop-down menu, and you want to click on Credit Union Resources and Expansion. And when you click on that, you should see a row of 5 items: resources, grants and loans, learning, FOM expansion, and chartering. If you click on learning, that will take you to a page that gives you access to our learning management service.
Awesome. Okay. So we have another question about this credit union has a question about the streamlined CDFI application. So they wanted to know, was there any delay in reviewing the CDFI streamlined applications that were submitted in December?
No, there should not be. And in fact, if you've submitted an application and you have not heard, then you can contact our office. And there, again, with the mailboxes, you'll see Secure CDFI, NCUA.gov. Please send an email asking for follow-up on your application.
Okay. All right. Now, we're getting quite a few questions in. Let's ask another question that came in prior to our webinar. So here's a good question. What are you envisioning in your MDI preservation program?
Mm-hmm.
Would you address that?
Mm-hmm. So the Minority Depository Institution Preservation Program has recently come to our office, and we are actually building out the program at this time. Nothing written in stone. We're actually still working on the position description, but in my mind and in JeanMarie's mind, we've been talking about how we'd like to see this program work. And we will have one person that will be heading up the MDI preservation program. They will be working closely with MDI credit unions, identifying resources available for them, identifying certain training needs that they have as these types of institutions, MDIs, that we can then build into the learning management service. Potentially, what are some grant initiatives that we could build to assist MDIs? So basically, how can we help MDIs flourish in this current environment? And that will be the true purpose of the preservation program.
Very good. Okay. So here's another good question that we have. So the question is there a way for a credit union in an underserved area to submit their package for field of membership expansion? If not now, what is the time frame for this to be available?
So I'm assuming the question is asking, is there a way to submit that package electronically?
Yes, I believe so.
So right now there are two ways that you can request an expansion to your field of membership. The first is through our program called FOMIA, which is the Field of Membership Internet Application, and that can be found under our FOM Expansion tab on our website. The other way is to send either an email request, a paper request in effect, hard copy, asking us for that expansion, and we can process it that way.
Great. Sounds good to me. All righty. Here's a question that I think I'm going to have to answer. Okay. So we had a credit union that wanted to know if an employee leaves the credit union and they have an account in our LMS. How do they notify NCUA of the change? Great question. What you can do is you can send an email to curelms@ncua.gov so that we can make an adjustment on it. Thank you for that question. Phenomenal question.
If you didn't know, Catherine is heading up our learning management service, so actually she should be answering all these questions.
No. Okay. So here's another good question. I think this is a really good question. What is the current turnaround time for field of membership expansion for community charter?
Do you want your special guest to jump in?
Yes, please.
Hi, everyone. This is Matt Valoris. I'm the current acting director of the Office of Consumer Financial Protection, and of course, our office had previously processed the field of membership expansion request. So consistent with what we have had in prior annual performance plan goals, internally, I think we always strive to process a completed application within 60 days. And I know that the completing part of it can be a struggle. So I think I would envision with the new resources available through CURE, the additional staffing, the additional coordinators that can help out, even getting a credit union to get a completed application, there should be some efficiencies and benefits of that. So a completed application, I would think we would continue to strive to get that done within 60 days.
Great answer. Great answer. Thank you, Matt. Now that he revealed who he is, we appreciate that. So here's another LMS question, and unless JeanMarie wants to answer it, I'll answer it.
I can try.
Okay, JeanMarie, here we go. Can I add a staff or volunteer to the site, and can I see what they're doing in the LMS?
So you can invite your staff member to register themselves for an account on the LMS. They would then need to share with you the information of how they have registered, under what type of employee they are, what training plans have been suggested for them, what they have completed. They can provide you copies of their completed certificates, but you as their employer or as their supervisor would not have access to see what they're doing unless they share that information with you.
Absolutely. Great question.
So they can print out their certificates of completion to share
with their employer. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So here's another good question. I don't know if our mystery guest wants to answer it, but let's put it out there. The question is, by what measure can a credit union consider changing to a community charter?
So I would look to strategic vision initially. If a credit union's board of directors decides they want to expand and go to a community charter to serve a larger portion. And a lot of it's driven by the consumers themselves. They'll come into the credit union looking to be able to join, find out they're not in the field of membership, particularly if it's a small association or a small group field of membership. And so that could garner a conversation at the board level to say maybe we should consider changing to a community charter and serve a larger area and allow more access to individuals. So I would say that's kind of what starts that process rolling.
Sounds great. Here's a question that I'm not sure this has been announced by the agency yet. So a credit union is interested in knowing if the new regional directors have been named yet, and that hasn't happened.
No, it has not.
But thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Did you want to add anything, Mark or JeanMarie?
No, I think just the regions have been determined, and those are shown earlier in the presentation. But the rest of the realignment is still being worked on.
Okay. All right. We're starting to wind down a bit. We have some more learning management questions here. So I think we answered this question, but it's worth asking again. So a credit union wants to know if the learning management service provides certificates for credit union employees, board members who complete their training.
So as long as an individual has registered for an account within the learning management service, as they take a full course, there are a series of quizzes that are done through that course, and then once they've completed all of the different pieces of that course, which may be watching a video, it may be going through a webinar, it may be reading through some materials. Once they've done all of those different pieces, there's a final course quiz, and once that's completed and all of the different pieces are done, they will receive a certificate, and then they can print out that certificate and keep it for themselves.
Okay. Now here's a question, JeanMarie. I don't know if you or Matt or Martha is able to answer them. I'm kind of having a hard time seeing it here. But the credit union had a question about the NCUA is allowing SEG expansions through the online 4015EZ.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, but they're apparently having a problem getting this process done. Is there any information that we can give them on that, Matt?
No, so I would suggest you contact the office and we can talk specifically about that. The 4015 EZ, when we did the recent rule, we allowed it some streamlined documentation to help the board make its determination that the group couldn't form its own credit union. So for groups between 3,000 and 4,999, we allow them to do the 4015 EZ. I know it has been used before. It has been used successfully. So I would say for this particular credit union to contact the office directly, and we'll walk through that scenario.
Okay.
I would suggest sending an email in through Cure Mail, and just note on the email that you asked the question during the webinar, and that way Martha and I can follow up on it.
Absolutely.
Or ask for JeanMarie directly.
Thanks, Matt.
So here's another good question. It's about field of membership expansion. So the credit union was looking to expand their field of membership at the end of 2015, and they were looking into a rural designation, they said. To sum it up, they were told that the rules regarding rural designations will soon change. They wanted to know if they changed them.
They did change. So effective, I believe, February of 2017, the rural district population limit was increased from 250,000 persons to 1 million. We also allowed crossing over several states that were adjacent to the state that had the credit union's headquarters. Still has to be a contiguous area, so it all has to be touching each other. But so there are options, there are expanded options available for the rural district that this individual should look into.
So that begs the follow-up question, Matt. A credit union that wishes to discuss strategy for field of membership expansion, who can they speak with now?
They would contact the Cure office, and that would be through DCA mail.
Contact the Cure office through DCA mail.
Correct.
Right. Fantastic. So here's another question, CDFI question. Ready? Okay. Does NCUA have dates for the CDFI streamlined process for 2018?
Yes, we do. And go to the next question, and I'll look them up for you.
Okay.
We can tell you that we're doing a special CDFI opening round in January for those credit unions that are in Texas, Florida, Puerto Rico, and other areas that were affected by the recent hurricanes last year. So look for information about that round coming up very shortly because it will open towards the end of the month. And then Martha will have the dates for the other rounds.
So the special is Monday, January 22nd through February 16th. And again, it's for those hurricane-impacted areas. The first official CDFI intake will be March 19th through April 6th. Monday, the second one would be Monday, June 4th through Friday, June 22nd. And the third will be September 10th through September 28th. Now, our regular CDRLF grant and loan, or our grant program, we're looking probably end of summer, July, August, but again, we will have the NOFO posted 30 days in advance to alert credit unions that an upcoming grant round is coming.
Right, fantastic. So, here's another question, training question. Credit union wants to know if we have any training right now on CECL.
I do not believe that we have something available right now, particularly on CECL. I will commit to everybody that we will reach out to the Office of Examination and Insurance and see if they have somebody that we can work with to try to get something concise and basic uploaded fairly quickly and make that one of the priorities for our curriculum specialists to start working on immediately.
Fantastic. All right, let's step back for a minute to the CDFI.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Credit union wants to know if the announcements for the December 2017 CDI applicants, have they been announced yet?
So I guess my question would be, are you talking about grant applicants to CDFI, or are you talking about the streamlined application process that NCUA does?
So you need them to be a little specific.
I would need them to be more specific, because if they're asking about grant applications to CDFI, we don't have any control over that, and we would not be able to speak on when announcements on that are going to be made. As far as the streamlined application process, for the certification process, all of the individual credit unions who applied for that program should have been notified already.
They said streamlined certification.
So any credit union that applied for the streamlined application, for the ability to use the streamlined application, should have been notified by NCUA that they could use it. If they've then sent their application to CDFI, we don't get notified when CDFI operates or takes action on that. We can certainly try to follow up if they want to send us a quick email directly to curecdfi@ncua.gov. We can try to follow up with CDFI.
Okay, great. Big question. We're starting to wind down, everyone, so please get your questions in. We only have a few more to consider. But here's a good seg question. So we have a credit union that said that they have a SEG field of membership office in another state. Here's the question. Could this office apply for a change in field of membership?
So I'm going to try and answer that if I read the question the right way, but if I haven't, certainly right back in and help clarify it for me. But so this is a multiple common bond credit union that has serves a select employee group in another state. So typically under our rules, as long as the group is within reasonable proximity of the credit union, meaning a branch or shared branch facility, something of that sort, then they can serve it. By the question of can the office apply for a change in its field of membership, that's where I'm not really sure I understand the question on that point. If a SEG changes its structure and feels it needs to notify the credit union, that may have implications. I don't know. But in general terms, a multiple common bond credit union can serve SEGs in multiple states, different states, as long as they are within reasonable proximity of one of the credit union's branches or shared facility that the credit union has an ownership interest in.
Okay. Well, if they have any further questions on that, they can either
DCA mail.
DCA mail
At NCUA.gov.
At NCUA.gov. Awesome.
And just, Catherine, too, if I could go back and revisit my response on the rural district question. In addition to increasing the population limit, a checks and balance, an important checks and balance for a rural district, we left the density test in there. So even if a credit wants to serve a larger rural district, overall the whole thing has to have a population limit of not more than 100 persons per square mile. So they can certainly serve a larger area, but the density test has to still be met. That stayed in the rule.
Awesome. Wonderful. Low income question.
Okay.
You ready?
Bring it on.
All right. I'm going to hit you with it. If a low-income community charter federal credit union expands its field of membership to include surrounding cities, here's the question. Will they lose their low-income designation?
So CURE will rerun the test on that when they process that application. There is a chance that in serving a new area, adding some of those adjacent areas, they may not qualify for the low-income designation, in which case the rule allows for a 5-year period to come back into compliance. And as they have in the past, CURE's consumer access analysts can work with the credit union to make sure they fully understand that and look for ways to try and get back into there, because the end purpose of that is to bring service to individuals who might not have service. So it's an important feature. And CURE will work with them to try and do that. But again, even if they did lose it, they would have 5 years to come back into compliance in doing that. And that just may be looking for other areas that they can add to their field of membership that have the underserved representatives in there, and then that will help them get that designation.
Wonderful. Awesome. We have 2 questions left, and I think I'm going to save the best one for last. Okay. This is a good question, too, but I'm going to save the best one for last. So this involves BSA. And the reason I'm going to ask this, I know Matt said I don't have to be bothered with that. So I'm going to throw this question out, but I'm going to couch it a little bit differently than it is. I don't think this credit union is asking us, are we going to certify them as a BSA officer? I think they're asking about BSA training. Is that the understanding you get from the question, JeanMarie?
That is the understanding I get from the question.
Okay.
So the answer is we have some BSA training available on our LMS now. We are working on providing new BSA training on our LMS sometime this year. But we will not determine if your staff member is a BSA officer or if that training is sufficient for them. That's a decision that you will have to make, or a determination that you will have to make and work with your examiner or others on if that is sufficient training. We will provide BSA training. It's up to you to determine if that's what you need.
Absolutely. Great. Now here's the final question, unless I get some more in, and this is a good one. What in the world is taking the place of your consulting program?
That is the big question.
It is.
I'm getting that a lot, and I can certainly understand the reasoning behind it. But that goes back to what I was referencing earlier. When the agency looked at our offices and the functions that each office performs and how we can create efficiencies with the resources that we have, and to basically impact a greater audience, we decided to move from the consultants, the EDSs, to the online training platform. So instead of a credit union having a consultant for, a month, maybe 2 months, and only working with them on 3 select services, the credit union now has the opportunity to sign on to our learning management service 24 hours a day. They can access multiple topics or resources available to them to help them in all of their training needs. It's more of an efficiency standpoint, a wider impact, and really a greater resources for the credit union as far as wealth of information. They don't have to be, just wired into those 3 select services. They have a full menu to access at any time.
Exactly. And to add to your statement, Martha, when they're in the LMS, if they have any questions for us, there's a way to ask questions You can send us an email through the LMS about anything that you may have a question on, and we will certainly get back with you.
Yeah. As I said before, I'm so excited about that platform. We're just at the very beginning of what we can do with it. So stay tuned, visit back often. We'll do, tweets or press releases about, what's upcoming. So it's going to be very dynamic.
Absolutely. Well, we are fresh out of time. We have taken all of our questions. I'm going to ask Martha, do you have any closing comments? JeanMarie and our guest, Matt, if you have any closing comments, please let us hear from you.
So again, we are so excited about this office. Staff is really excited as well. There's so much opportunity that we have, such great, dynamics between not only our office, but the other offices within the agency, as well as our stakeholders. We still look forward to working with the leagues and the other credit union organizations. So please keep in contact with us through the various means and look forward to new things coming from CURA.
Absolutely. Matt? JeanMarie? No? Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. This was our first webinar for 2018. It won't be our last. You will hear from us on our next webinar. So for our NCUA staff here and for our behind-the-scenes person, Franz Ayento, thank you so much. Our platform supporters on 24, we appreciate it. We're going to sign off now. This is Catherine Baxter. I've been your moderator for today's event, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon and a great week.